So I had a really interesting first year on the Buccaneer. Every mistake that could be made, they just relied on me to make it. So imagine on a hot day, taxiing out with the aeroplane's canopy behind. As you can see, it's an electrical canopy. There's a switch on the right hand side that you pull back and the canopy opens. But at some point you can't take off. It's not a cabriolet, it's not a soft top, it's not a rag top. We've got to get it shut at some point. And you just bring it shut by pulling this little lever forward, and the canopy is on a chain, I believe, and then it just motors forward with a lot of force, and then it locks in place. And on the way down to the end of the runway, the Navigator starts calling out the pre-takeoff checklist. And this wasn't coming. And I'm starting to move the canopy forward so that I can hear what he's about to say. And as I'm moving the canopy is just not moving. It's catching, and there's a noise, and there's a horrible mechanical grunting noise coming out of the mechanism. And I'm pressing the button harder because I want this thing shut. I want to go flying. It's a beautiful day. And it's hot. And this is Lossiemouth. We get hot once every decade, so I'm enjoying this. So I'm pushing the lever as far forward as I can, and it's just not coming shut. And the Navigator's not telling me what it is. It was Phil Smith, a good mate of mine. We went through the OCU together, and it's just not happening. And I can't see in the mirror because the mirror's attached to the canopy, and that's about 3 feet behind me. And eventually the canopy comes forward and shuts, and then I hear Phil. And what had happened, if the blast screen that sits between the front seater and the back seater, for if I eject, he doesn't get a face full of horrors. He's got his arms out, because it's the only hot day he's ever known in Lossie. He's got his arms out of the cockpit as we're taxiing, and I've tried to close the canopy. And the angle of the blast screen has meant that the very sensitive bit of skin underneath your arm is now being cut through by the canopy. Ooh. So you know how hard it is when you get that pinched in, for whatever reason. It's excruciating. I was using an electrical motor in a big beefy Buccaneer to try and cut his arms off, and then I'm upset, and he says, you've got to take me back, and we went flying instead. So we were Buccaneer crew, we weren't going to stop flying, but he was only joking. He knew I wouldn't taxi back for that. So yeah, that was I was apologising for the next hour and a half. I was mortified I'd done it to him.
Was that create a beer?
I can't remember quite what the forfeit was, but there was one, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.